Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 4. We're here at the Australian Grand Prix, ready to kick things off. The grid is set and ready to go. Remember, they are not exactly as they should be in the grid, but this is okay. They should be faster if they're behind, but they are about where they roughly should be. So let's start at the back of the field and move forward. So starting out back in 24th, qualified last once again, it's going to be Mahavir Raghunathan. Then alongside him should have been Lindsay Brewer, but she got pretty lucky with the draw. She's going to be starting up in 18th. 22nd qualifier was Ethan Martz. He's going to be joining his teammate at the back of the grid once again. 21st, Jacob Abel, a surprise early exit in qualifying will end him near the back of the field. 20th, Brendan Hubbard also got a lucky draw. He's going to be up in 16th. Not as lucky as Lindsay Brewer, but still pretty good. 19th, Miles Rowe in the Eventide racing car. Started out back last race as well, but cut his way through the field. 18th in the number 18 for 18 Aggressive Bees, Callum Ilott. He's going to be starting in 19th, actually. Stingray Rob, he got a really bad draw. He's starting all the way back in 22nd when he qualified 17th. Unfortunate. Gail Barnhart, not much better. He's starting back in 21st when he qualified 16th. 15th, Chet Jordan, that'll be where he starts. 14th, Marcus Armstrong, he got a good draw. He's going to be up in 11th. And then 13th, last car to not make it out of round one. That's going to be Benjamin Peterson in the number 29 machine. Number 12 in qualifying, Glubler. He's going to be starting up in 10th. And then we have Ryan Preece, who qualified 11th, going to be starting in 12th. So not as good for him. 10th, Catherine Legg. She'll be starting down in 13th, so not as lucky with her draw. 9th, Alessio Deletta. He'll be starting 8th, so that's about where he is. 8th was Yuki Tsunoda. He actually just switches places with Alessio Deletta. He'll be 9th. And then we have Guy Gagne, who qualified 7th. He's going to be starting 5th, so one whole row forward. Then your fast 6. Your 6th qualifier was Robbie. He's going to be starting in 6th. 5th, David Malukas, not as lucky as he was at Texas. He's going to be moving back a row to row 7. Connor Zilich was P4. He's going to be P3 today. Then Swindlers of the Immortals locked out the first 3 spots. Dorian Pin will be 4th. And then your front row will be as they were. Louis Foster going to be on the outside in the number 11. And Shane Van Gisbergen on the inside in that number 43. So really quick, we'll just show where they're going to start. It's going to be a good race today, I feel. It's going to be kind of a difficult track to master in dirty air. But you know, I think that's gonna provide a lot of good racing. So there's your front of the field. Now we'll scroll down, find your favorite driver. Again, some got lucky, so they're going to be desperately trying to hold on to their spots, not slide their way down the field. We can take a look at our weather as well. Lovely 78 degrees, 98 track temp. 10-mile-per-hour wind speed, so it's a little bit rougher. And then look at your track map. You can see where they start. You have some high-speed sections, some slower turns. It's really a good mixed bag all around this track. So engines will be fired shortly as we get ready to go. Shane Van Gisbergen going to be out front. Louis Foster and then teammate Dorian Pin going to be right behind him. Now we should take a look at the tires. Everyone gets to choose their own tire compounds. Looks like the first one on a tire compound that is not the softs is Connor Zilich. He's going to be on medium, so he'll be able to go longer but won't be as fast. Take good note of that. Dorian Pin on softs. Guy Gagné, the first one on hards. Robbie on mediums. Malukas on mediums. Deletta on mediums. A lot of cars on mediums. Glubler on hard. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys on soft tires fare. There should be at least one pit stop, maybe even two, if the tire management isn't good. So that's a little interesting that they chose to go for the soft tires. I'm very curious to see how that will play out. All three teammates are up here. Once again, they qualified pretty well at Texas, but not as good as they did yesterday. "45 laps. There's your top 20, kinda, roughly. I think this section is going to be your danger section. It's very high speed. You may push a car off. And if he tries to merge back on, there is that tire barrier right there. And I would not be surprised if we see a big incident there on one of the first couple laps. So a lot of different tire choices. Turn 1's going to be a little tight. This is our first road course race of the season. We were at Texas, we were in the South, but now we're even more down south. We're in Australia, baby. So let's get ready to go for the Australian Grand Prix at Sandown. A good jump by Van Gisbergen, but a really good jump by Connor Zilic. He may slot into second going into turn 1. Yes, he will. Foster's going to go backwards. As Robbie, you see Glubler getting a big jump up the inside. Shane Van Gisbergen out in front. Connor Zilic in second has lost his teammate. Foster drops down to third. Here we go down the backstretch. This is the danger zone if they're going side by side. See, Foster goes off just a bit. It's a wild ride down there, and you've got to try to hang on for dear life. Did everyone make it through all right? Yes, they did. Just a couple cars going off track. Can't let that happen too much because you'll lose speed. Guy Gagné on the hard tire is going to be trying to hold off David Malukas, which should be faster than him. Lucas not going to find his way by there. Now here they go down the backstretch. A good lead over Zilic. David Malukas trying to draft up on Guy Gagné, not quite there. Everyone, yes, you see cars all over the place. You're going to be seeing a lot of off-track incidents there. It's just when they try to merge back on that could cause some issues. We did see some slides in qualifying. As the top 4 have broken away, Guy Gagné really holding up everyone back here. David Malukas on the mediums. He's going to look at the inside. Not quite there. Willie Foster trying to chase down Connor Zilic, who got his way up into second, but is running those medium tires. So he's just got to try to hang on. Maybe he'll be able to reel in Shane Van Gisbergen. Time goes on. Way off. He had this the second time he's missed that. Back there, Gagné. Oh, Deletta, he's going to completely miss it. But luckily not going to have too bad of an issue. Now you're starting to see the scroll. You can see how the bottom of the field stacks up right now. Stingray Rob going backwards once again, not how he wants this to be going. Guy Gagné driving defensively. So far, everyone just kind of stuck in a draft train. Not much places to go. I think Malukas really needs to try to jump on Gagne and get ahead of him. Gonna try to look at the outside, but it's just not available. Man, Deletta is all over the place. A lot of off tracks are gonna be happening there, and you can't have too many of those. They cost the team. Foster all over the back of Zilich now for second. Top four, nearly 4 seconds clear of the cars behind. Just not enough on the exit to quite get there. He's gonna try looking at the outside. Zilich gonna go wide. He's gonna keep it on the track, but that was kind of all over the place. Those turns are kind of a Hail Mary. Gagne still managing to hold off Malukas. Malukas really needs to act as he has Robbie right behind him. Can't be messing around for too long. It's going down towards turn one. Just not enough. David Malukas now looking up the inside. Still can't get there. As we have a little bit of a battle back here. Yuki Tsunoda goes around the outside of Globler to take P9. So Yuki Tsunoda will move up a spot. Here comes Foster, just Zilich planting his car right in the middle of the track, and that's going to be really frustrating for these guys to try to work their way around. Take a look at your track map. You can just see everyone's kind of stuck in a draft train, except for these first few cars, as Shane Van Gisbergen has driven away 2 seconds up the field. Malukas gonna try the inside once again. He might be there. He's gonna be side by side with Gagne. Who's gonna have the better line? And it's gonna be Malukas. He's gonna get by. Now let's see if he can chase down the leaders. Foster not quite close enough. Robbie maybe, no, just not quite close enough. And all the way off track for both him and Deletta. As Foster gonna try the outside on Zilich. He's gonna get side by side with him, but still can't get around. As Van Gisbergen really starting to drive away. Yuki Tsunoda has caught this group. He was kind of hanging on at the back. Van Gisbergen gonna try to lead every lap if he can. Whoa! Hang on to it. He's got a big line behind him. I think he is on the hard tires. Yes, he's on the white hard tires. Priest gonna try looking around the outside, but can't quite get there. This is a battle for the top 10. Ongoing. Zilich, Foster, Pin. Malukas kind of getting away from Gagne a bit here. I think if it stays as it stands, David Malukas would be the points leader. because he should be ahead of Van Gisbergen. Maybe. Yeah, he should be. Right now, good spot for Malukas. We're already 10 laps in. Surprised we haven't had any major incident. Unless they're doing a really good job at managing the tires, because qualifying, they were all over the place. Robbie, he's gonna have a draft here. Will it be enough? He's right in the slipstream. He's gonna try to pull to the outside. Not gonna get there. Whoa. Gloveler still holding up this group, which has really become a draft train all the way back. You can see Zilich's line kind of in the middle of the racetrack. Foster gonna try the outside again, but still can't get there. As it appears, Robbie has muscled his way up the inside of Gagne. Gagne gonna try to fight back, but it's too little too late, and Deleta's gonna try to sneak by. Can't quite get there. But Gagne nearly lost 2 spaces in 1 lap. Robbie now into P6. As the 03 is off and into the tires, this could be a yellow flag if she does not get going once everyone passes. Uh-oh. And that's going to be a yellow flag. Yellow flag for the 03 stuck on the track. And that's going to be the first yellow of the race. Trying to go backwards to see what happened. What is... I think it sent me so far back. But it's okay. These road course yellows take a while. So that's when you can see the attempt. Then Robbie tries to go to the inside. You can see that in the background. This is where it goes wrong. Oh! Contact with a teammate. And she's going to try to fire it up. And she's just going to go right into the tire barrier. So Foster goes off into pin. Swindlers of the Immortals, it looked good in qualifying, but once again it may be falling apart. Try to see what Foster saw, see if it was reasonable for him to, just off track. Hip checks his teammate, doesn't even see it. And pin, I think, kind of forced the issue, trying to keep up. But now we are under yellow for the first time today. That's rough for Dorian Pin. There's going to be a second accident. Very unfortunate. So we're going to have to see if they pit this time. I'd assume they probably need to. We're about 1/3 of the way through the race. We're gonna have a double file restart, so get ready. But man, that's unfortunate for Dorian Pin, especially for it to be at the expense of... She was at the expense of her teammate. And just not much that she really could have done there. And you don't want to have too many DNFs because it puts you far behind, and that's already 2 to start the season, assuming she's not coming back out. As will they come in? No. Is anybody gonna pit? Do they think they can all make it just one stint? As we have a couple cars in the back that, just to be safe, are coming in, and I think this is a good call. This is what I would have done, at least. Kalamilot, Stingray Rob, Mahavir, Raghunathan. Gonna give up a little bit of track time, but maybe for a bit better tires. One lap to green now. Gonna line up double file once again. Texas had 4 yellows. Right now we've only got 1, and it wasn't on the first couple of laps. Gonna have to watch to see what Kalamilot, Stingray Rob, and Mahavir Raghunathan can do. But can they actually make it to the end? We aren't quite sure what the fuel loads are in these cars. It's kind of all just a mystery. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to see the leaders make another pit stop. Down through this downward chicane section. And this is the turn where Pin went off. You can see the tire marks, as I think Dorian Pin is officially out of the race. 1 down, 23 remain. And 1 less swindler of the Immortal. Luckily, it only takes 2 cars to score team points, but not ideal. Pace car gonna pull off. Let's try this again. Van Gisbergen gets a good jump. Does Zilich get enough of his jump on the outside? I think Foster is gonna be there, and he's gonna try to cover him off. Zilich gonna have to go the long way around. Can he hang on? It looks like he can. He's actually gonna do it. And Malukas is in 4th. And there is someone in the wall. I believe that is Gail Barnhart, Yuki Sonoda. There is another incident, but it appears both of them will get back going. A spin in the back will put both of those cars behind. Connor Zilich with Van Gisbergen. Did Van Gisbergen use all of his tires trying to get ahead earlier? Oh, that may have been a brutal strategy call. We can later on. We are gonna, as Van Gisbergen pits now. That is a bizarre call. They must have been just a little bit short on fuel and decided it wasn't worth the fuel save, but Van Gisbergen is in. Let's see if this is a good pit stop, as Marcus Armstrong has gotten by Ryan Preece. Van Gisbergen fires off 6-second pit stop. Glubler 5.8 seconds. So really good stop from that team. Oh, that's interesting. We're gonna have to see if it plays in the favor of Kalamilot, Mahavir Raghunathan, and Stingray Rob. Stingray Rob actually got ahead of Kalamilot, so he's in a good spot right now. The Van Gisbergen, what tires did he put on? He's now on the mediums. David Malukas following Louis Foster down the straightaway. He's going to try to go by him. This is medium versus soft, so Malukas' tires should be better. But are they? Miles Rowe trying to battle with Ryan Preece. Preece has lost another spot. as both Silly Men racing cars of Marcus Armstrong and Chet Jordan have gone by him. So he's losing time. What tires is he on? Oh, he is on softs. So his tires may be killed at this point. But who's going to win the race when it comes to strategy? Van Gisbergen currently 24.9 seconds back. We're going to have to watch that gap. As Malukas going to have the better tires. He's going to pop to the inside. And, oh, kind of forces Foster off a bit, maybe. Hard to tell with that angle. As here comes Marcus Armstrong. He's on the hards, I believe. No, he's on the mediums. Catherine Legg on the softs. And they're going to bang wheels. Oh, Armstrong getting the elbows out. Chet Jordan going to follow behind. These soft tires are not here anymore. Robbie going to try to follow Louis Foster. I think it's time to pull off with these. And some of the call is on the drivers, but some of it is on the crew. Got to make sure that your crew is wise enough to know what to do in these situations. I don't get staying out unless they're trying to meet some kind of number. Van Gisbergen not closing in at the rate that he wants to. He's still down by about 24.8. So he's gained a 10th. Just not moving at the rate that he should, as Raghunathan and Sonoda battling back here. Oh, and Raghunathan's going to spin himself out. Quick recovery, though. Not going to lose a lot of time, but that's just slightly embarrassing. Foster still trying to hang on, as Deletta is now into the top 5. Billy Men Racing Cars 6th and 7th. As Chet Jordan has gotten by Catherine Legg. Robbie now going to look on the inside. Catherine Legg enters pit lane. Foster still trying to go long. You've got to make it to 23 to easily be able to make it on one stop. As Priest now getting passed by Hubbard. Easy pass for him, it looked like. Man, but tire strategy really starting to shake things up. Catherine Legg's going to lose a lot of time just by staying out longer. Overcut, not the move, as Foster and Robbie's gotten by. That was Deletta trying to get by with a dive bomb move. Van Gisbergen closing in on traffic of Gale Barnhart, who is on the softs. So he's probably got to come in, especially with that spin. And Van Gisbergen desperately needs him to. Priest is in, as we have the teammates battling, and Deletta's gotten by Foster. Chet Jordan gonna go by Armstrong. As now Priest tumbling down the time tower, but I believe he may be close enough to stretch it to the end. It's gonna be close though. Especially for Van Gisbergen. Will this pay out in the end? As right now he's stuck behind a slow car and he has a train in front of him. He's got to hope and pray that the cars in front of him pit soon. Even then, that's going to be long on those mediums. I don't think soft tires were the choice. As Foster's going to be in now. We're going to have to see where he comes out relative to Van Gisbergen. I assume it's going to be well behind him. He may even be behind Peterson. That may have been a fumble on the 11 strategy. God, he may come out by the 07. Yes, he is passed by Benjamin Peterson. He's going to come out just a little bit ahead of Catherine Legg. The undercut definitely a good strategy option here. But now Van Gisbergen, he's going to be stuck in traffic soon, as Jacob Abel gets by Lindsey Brewer for P9. He's working his way through the field. Right now, he is tied for biggest mover with Stingray Rob, also plus 11. Connor Zilic has a lead of 2.75 seconds over David Malukas. Robbie is back by 5 seconds, then Deletta by 9. As Gail Barnhart enters pit road. Yeah, that was not a good opening stint for him, as Callum Ilott going by Stingray Rob, so if this is what prevails, this could be for the lead. Van Gisbergen needs to get by Ilott, though. That's really who he needs to get by. As now Ilott's gotten by Rob, gonna try for Brewer. Not gonna quite get there, as Zilic gonna try to lap. Barnhart really wanted to get by there. No blue flag, so he's gonna have to do it on speed. Barnhart not quite up to temp with the tires. The Van Gisbergen really needs to make quick work of these cars. Raghunathan, he pit, but for some reason he went for softs, as Ilott trying to go by Brewer up ahead. And Stingray's gonna try to follow, nearly hip checks her. Ilott's really got to drive away here. If he doesn't need to stop again, he's gonna be in the winner's seat right now. So we've got to watch what Van Gisbergen can do. Right now, he's marred in traffic. As Brewer is in, couldn't hold on to the softs any longer, but she'll be safe on one stop. David Malukas kind of being caught by Robbie right now. Nice 6.4 second stop for Brewer. She is going to come out right by Zilic though. Get ahead. Barnhart gonna try to pass to get a lap back, but right now he is stuck a lap down in an unfortunate spot. Malukas really tracked down by Robbie right now. What tires is he on? He is on the hards, I believe. I mean, we can check. That's not the camera I wanted, but no, he's on the medium. Malukas also on the mediums. Everyone all the way back to Stingray Rob's on the softs. Interesting call for a 77 team. Van Gisbergen still stuck in traffic. That is not working out for him. And that may make this overcut with Zilic work out. I don't think that technically counts as an overcut, but it's a strategy call that's working right now. Robbie looking at the outside. Not quite there. Malukas trying to hang on to P2, Robbie in P3. Tried taking a peek, not quite there. As Mahavir Raghunathan trying to battle with teammate Ethan Martz as Sonoda got by Martz. Sonoda had that spin earlier, lost a lot of time. As Ryan Priest has had an issue, he spun himself around. He's going to get back going, but he's kind of gained a reputation for being a spinner. But that is going to put some dirt and debris all over the track in turn one. As Guy Gagné has gone off as well. These tires really starting to struggle now. As Gagné, that could have been a good spot that he just threw away, but he was stuck behind Van Gisbergen's group. That's a lot of lost time right there. As Van Gisbergen has gotten by Mahavir finally in turn 1, but still pretty deep in this clump of traffic. He's desperately going to need something to help him out, and a yellow right now would be perfect. So when he saw Priest go off, he was probably hoping to himself that a yellow flag would come out of it. Oh, that nearly was it. Foster nearly hip-checked Catherine Legg to another dimension. Robbie still trying to chase down Malukas. 17 laps to go. Van Gisbergen now on Martz makes it look easy. He's really got to start gunning it now. He wants any chance at getting back into this. Soft tires were just not the choice. And everyone that chose it on that first stint, I don't think it paid. I think the medium tires may have been special sauce. Calamilot still in a good, as Stingray Rob is pitting again. I don't know why he doubled up on the softs. That seemed to be a horrific decision. Benjamin Peterson will pit again. Double stint on the softs. I don't know what the strategy call was with that. As Zilich is in. Connor Zilich is finally in. As Robbie's going to stay out, David Malukas comes in. We're going to have to see if Robbie lasting one more lap. He's got a somewhat clean track. Stingray Rob a little bit up the road. He's really going to need to punch it to try to overcut David Malukas, Chet Jordan, and Connor Zilich. You have to see where he comes out. He's going to be well ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen, but is he ahead of Callum Ilott? I think he is. Yes, he's going to be well ahead of Callum Ilott, who is battling with Jacob Abel right now. Ilott did beat Malukas. Van Gisbergen trying to battle with Sonoda. As Ryan Priest has had another issue and has spun himself again. Will he get back going this time? Stingray nearly clobbers him. And this looks like it is going to be a yellow flag. Yellow flag once again. Ryan Priest has found himself stuck, and that is going to hurt Robbie. And I think he came into a closed pit, which is going to hurt even more. Ryan Priest just despawned. Man, all of these cars coming into closed pits. Marcus Armstrong going to stay out, but that may have just screwed over a bunch of cars. Ryan Priest with yet another incident. Connor Zilich has disappeared. What happened to Zilich? And what happened to Zilich? Zilich may have had an issue. Considering he isn't on the track right now, I think he... Oh! Battling with Miles Rowe, and he is going to go off. That is a big off. And that looks like that is going to be lights out on the hopes of Connor Zilich. See if we can see inside the cockpit. Trying to go up the inside. Oh. And that is a potential win lost. Trying to battle lap traffic. Miles Rowe going to get back going, but I think he is done. As Alessio Deletta at the back of the field. He may have had to let cars go? I'm not necessarily sure. Yeah, I think he had to let cars go because he got a penalty for entering a closed pit. Or did he just end up at the back regardless? Because Robbie's still up in third. And if he doesn't get a penalty where he has to go to the back, he may actually be in really good shape by ducking in right as the yellow flag was called. Grand-Prix going to try to go back out, but he's going to be a couple laps down. Who's coming in? Armstrong. He's going to be in. Everyone's probably going to be in. Robbie's going to stay out. Malukas is going to take P2. Callum Ilott could not make it. He has to pit again. Van Gisbergen is in. So everyone who's pitted will stay out and benefit. Everyone who hasn't is going to be in pit road. Here comes Armstrong. He's going to come out P11. With Hubbard in 12th. Ilott is not able to benefit. He'll be in 13th. Stingray Rob came in again. Yes, Deletta gets a penalty for entering a closed pit, I guess. Robbie was just able to benefit just in time to jump ahead of these guys. Miles Rowe getting some damages repaired, but he'll come back out as they try to go one lap to green. So it's going to be 13 to go. Just coming off our second yellow flag period. Originally for Ryan Priest spinning in the middle of the track and stalling it, but then instead it turned into a big incident. Connor Zillage throwing away a race win. Just too aggressive with a lapped car. It wasn't even a lapped car, it was just overly aggressive. He's a rookie driver, but that's not what the team wanted to see. I just want to highlight Mahavir Raghunathan has found himself in P4. I'm not quite sure how, but he is up 20 spots since the start. Galetta at the back for his penalty. I think he has to let Priest by. Robbie, apparently no penalty. Got in just in time. But can he bring it home? Gonna be 12 laps to decide. He's on the soft tires. Very little use. Let's see if he can punch it. Green flag is back in the air. Malukas gonna get a decent jump, but Van Gisbergen's gonna be there. Is he gonna be able to get to the inside? He's on the inside, but can Malukas hold on? He should be on the better tires. So yes, he'll stay ahead. Van Gisbergen gonna drop back to third. And we have another car off into the wall. Gail Barnhart has spun again, and this time it's a big melee. Lindsey Brewer, Stingray Robb, Ethan Martz has disappeared, and I think that's going to be another yellow flag. Yellow flag once again on the restart. Ethan Martz had a big impact, I think. Yeah, everyone's stacked up. Oh, he's going to go over and out of the track. Yeah, no doubt that is a yellow flag. Barnhart once again, and another Sonoda once again. How did this happen? So Lindsey Brewer was the one that originally got spun. Yeah, just lost it on her own. No, Cliff Barnhart. And then boom, there goes Martz into a different realm. Try to see from Barnhart's perspective that did he hold his line? No, he hit the curb, and that's going to send the 47 off. 95. We're going to have to rewind to see what he saw. So what exactly happened to him? I think this is Hubbard or maybe Gagne. Oh, I believe that was Gagne, and he's going to bounce out of the track. Cautions, breed cautions, and we have another one. I believe this time maybe single file. If I remember correctly, this one should be a single file restart. Maybe that'll help with the flow into the first couple turns. But everyone trying to leave whatever they got out there. I guess that includes a little bit of hip checking. Tough for Barnhart. Brewer, they were inside the top 10. Well, I think Barnhart was. Brewer may have not been, but I guess she was ahead at the time. Ethan Mart's going to try to get some repairs and go back out. I think Ryan Priest should get the lucky dog. Let's try to leave this yellow on for him to get by. As we have a car in pit. Oh, Mahavir wasn't able to hold on. He's going to be in. Ryan Priest actually having to go to the back. Thought he'd get the lucky dog. Apparently not. The Mahavir in. Barnhart understandably in. Brewer is in. They're trying to get repairs to go back out there. Actually, there goes Priest. He's getting the lucky dog. Or at least trying to get around. Don't hit him. I won't rescind anything till he gets clear. Stand down, Australia. What can you say? Still a lot of racing left to go. We're gonna leave this one. Actually, no, I think we're gonna be able to. So, pace car in this time. 1 lap to green. Priest just gonna have to play a little bit of catch up, but it's his fault for taking forever to catch up. So single file restart should be a bit cleaner into that chicane, the 2-3 complex. Robbie gonna have to lead him again, but this time should be clear. Louis Foster has found his way back into the top 5. Let's get ready to go. Pace car pulls off. 10 laps to go. Robbie gonna lead us off again and misses a beautiful jump. He's gonna be well clear of David Maluka. Shane Van Gisbergen gonna be in 3rd. He's gonna be hanging on to used tires. Nobody gonna be able to send it just yet. We'll see if anyone tries into the chicane. No one's quite close enough. Four attempts. Can he keep it above Malukas? He was faster than Malukas at the end of the stint. but not beforehand. It's 2/10. I think this one's going to be close down to the end. Glubler trying to hang on to 5th back there. He's got a lot of cars lined up behind him as the top 4 break away. Biggest mover at this point, Jacob Abel up 11 spots into P9. As Glubler enters pit lane, for some he's on soft tires, used soft tires. Malukas now going to try to be inside, not going to get there. But we have a battle for the lead. Can Robbie hang on? Both these guys battling for their first race win. Who's going to get it? Shane Van Gisbergen hasn't won since season 1. Louis Foster hasn't won. This would be big for either of these guys. You also got to be careful because there could be another yellow. There may be an issue with tires. I think everyone should be good on their softs. There'll be a little bit of a battle to the end. Malukas, 4/10 back this time. I don't think he's going to be there. He's going to have to really get a big draft here. Not close enough to be able to make a lunge happen. Ain't open wheel offline league racing fun. Robbie gonna stay ahead, but Malukas is lurking. Will Malukas have to settle for second once again? Van Gisbergen massively hops the curb. Really don't want to take out a teammate behind you. It's already been happening with the Swindlers today. I think everyone's on fresh tires, so I don't think we're going to see much battling till the final couple laps, except Malukas is on him. Knock on wood, I guess, but not quite close enough. But man, that was a good look. Really pressuring that number 30 machine. Team Eggs looking for a win here. Haven't won since Richmond last season. Not been too long, but I'm sure they would like to get back here. Robbie has never won before. Neither has his brother Glub. Doesn't look like Glub's winning today. He's down in 21st. Three attempts. Lucas now going to be in the draft. Can he get by on the inside? Foster's going to be all over Van Gisbergen. A teammate battle for P3. Foster going to look on the outside. Foster's car is just a little bit better. Peterson gets by Miles Rowe. Rowe has a bit of damage, obviously, from the collision, so he's kind of holding these guys up. 5 laps to go. It's once again David Malukas. It'd be a really good start to the season, but 2 seconds may not be exactly what he wants. He wants that win. He wants the money that goes with it. And 10 championship points are 10 championship points. Masters of Motors, other car, Catherine Legg in P10. Team Eggs has a car in P8. As Foster going to try the outside again, but Van Gisbergen just a little too wide. But I think they may need to consider swapping, at least at the end. As Chet Jordan is lurking, up 10 spots since where he started. A good effort for this team. Lucas just continues to track him down. The battle rages on. Two tenths. Still not able to get there. Foster, I don't think is going to be close enough this time. Unless he does a big lunge. No, but that may leave the door open for Jordan, who's really starting to take a peek. Miles Rowe and Stingray Robb battling. Both have had their share of collisions today. Less than 3 temps. As we have a lap car leaving the pits right at the worst possible time. Ethan Mart's 8 laps down. Why are you even here? He could be in the way, but he's just a little bit up the road. Malukas looks to the inside, but not enough room. Foster gonna try again. Is this the time it sticks? It's closer, but not close enough. Stingray Robb and Miles Rowe still battling. 2 laps to go. And Robbie starting to drive away from Malukas a bit. That 25 not able to hold as it used to. Here we go, to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Robbie gonna be 3 tenths up on Malukas. And I think that may be the last chance Malukas may get. Foster, it's now or never. And it may be never as Chet Jordan sneaks to the inside. And he's gonna steal P4 right on the last lap. That was a brilliant move. And he could get Van Gisbergen if he sends it in here, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's going to try the outside. Not quite close enough, but at the front, with his first ever race win in sight, he is able to execute. And it's going to be Robbie Lohr who wins the Australian Grand Prix at Sandown. David Malukas is going to have to take another second, and Shane Van Gisbergen just narrowly going to hang on to 3rd. What an amazing race of strategy and battles and incidents. Just a brilliant start to the season. Especially for that 25. He may not be the winner, but he looked pretty good today. But Robbie's going to be Robbie might be ahead in points. Just barely. Your unofficial results scrolling across the top. That was brilliant. So, incidents, a lot of cars with incident points. Deletta and Gagne. That is a lot. Some cars did pretty clean today. Robbie, not one of them. Got 30. Let's take a look at your final results. It's going to be Robbie who stands on top of the podium today. Qualified 6th. It had a pretty impressive showing in qualifying as well with a last-minute advancement. David Malukas going to be just about half a second off, not able to deliver, but will finish 2nd once again. Shane Van Gisbergen back on the podium. P3, not exactly where he wanted to be with how strong he looked in the beginning. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. Chet Jordan, going to be the best of his teammates. Going to finish P4. Louis Foster, going to be P5. Strong showing, just unfortunately couldn't hang on at the end. Brennan Hubbard, not the best of the rookies, but has a very strong showing in P6. That's a very impressive drive for him. P7, Marcus Armstrong just one-ups his performance at Texas. Jacob Abel will one lower than Texas, but from where he started, that's really good. I think he is your biggest mover of today. Kalamilot P9, first top 10 for 18 aggressive Bs. And then Catherine Legg will round out the top 10 in P10. Guy Gagné looked pretty good, but had a couple incidents. He'll drop down to 11th. Benjamin Peterson will be 12th. Alessio Deletta, with how strong he looked in the beginning, P13 is not where he'd want to be. Miles Rowe had a lot of incidents. He'll be P14. Stingray Rob, P15. Mahavir Raghunathan will round out 16. Barnhart 17. 18th. Yuki Tsunoda, last race winner, does not perform as he'd like today. Ryan Preece, a lot of unforced errors today. Not what we're used to seeing with him, but he seems to be struggling to adjust to these cars, at least with racecraft. 20th, Lindsey Brewer, not exactly where she wanted to finish. Glubler, just bad tire choice will end him up in 21st. Then your DNFs, Ethan March 22nd, flies through a barrier, I guess. Connor Zilich, that story's gonna hurt him for a long time, especially if it comes back to bite him in the championship. 2 DNFs to start the season. And then Dorian Pin, 24th. That's gotta sting as well. But a good race here at Sandown this weekend. We'll be going over to Japan for Suzuka. Hopefully you see more of what we've seen these first two races with good, hard, aggressive racing. And I just hope to see you guys all there. And thank you for watching, and I hope you tune in next time.